Bye-bye Meghan Markle. With love, Netflix. Yep, looks like the Duchess of Sussex's torturously dull lifestyle dross has been switched off forever as her $100 million deal with the streaming giant fizzles out, not with a bang, but a whimper. No announcement, just the humiliation of Netflix's long list of main attractions for 2026, in which With Love, Meghan is conspicuous by its absence. So that's it then. No more Ms. Markle helpfully showing us how to make ice cubes, concocting weird, edible, raw broccoli wreaths, and turning shop-bought pretzels into something very special by pouring them into different bags and tying ribbons around them. Amazing! Coping without this vital advice will be hard going, but we'll do our best to get by. I, for one, am going to miss heartwarming scenes of Meghan joyfully skipping among Christmas trees and singing "Hey Ho" as she glides into a house that isn't hers to say a happy hello to a bunch of paid guests she doesn't know. Magical memories. Meanwhile, as a disastrous year ends for Meghan, a new one begins amid reports that she's sitting on a massive mountain of 572,000 unsold products. $21 million worth of jam, honey, wine, edible flowers, and all the other wildly overpriced stock that, it seems, no one wants to buy. Oh dear. So they're seriously not rolling up to get a slice of Meghan's action. But wait! Within hours of the bad news breaking, a source allegedly close to her ladyship declared, "I think it's fair to say business isn't just successful, it's flying off the shelf." Really? Or was this the Sussex spin machine twisting the unpalatable truth? You decide. According to internet sleuths who say they exploited a bug in the As Ever website, the difficult Duchess's online store is overloaded with a vast hoard of items that she failed to flog at Christmas and now steadfastly remain on the shelves. The sheer scale of the numbers is extraordinary. Not sold: 220,000 jars of spread, 30,000 jars of honey, 30,000 mulling kits, 90,000 candles, 110,000 jars of tea, and 80,000 jars of edible flowers. Now over to the less than popular wine counter, where the dire situation was even worse. Not sold: 46,000 bottles of Sauvignon Blanc, 24,000 bottles of rosé, and 7,000 bottles of sparkling white. Enough to drive anyone to drink. Altogether, we're talking about an astonishing 572,000 lifestyle essentials that, if this story is on the money, Meghan simply cannot shift. The jaw-dropping details were revealed on Reddit after self-styled investigators deliberately ordered huge quantities, prompting the As Ever site to reveal the astonishing extent of exactly what was available. Straight after the shock revelations, the As Ever site was amended and purchase limits were put in place on all goods. But was this all a grim glimpse into the harsh reality of Ms. Markle's broken billionaire dreams? If so, business isn't so much not booming as not happening at all. "Oh, yes it is," insists the mysterious Sussex source, waxing lyrical about sales of nearly 1 million jars of jam and stocking up to launch As Ever enterprises all over the world. Right, okay then. And so the pantomime continues, with no happy ending in Meghan's hometown of Montecito, where the entire As Ever range, up for grabs at the local upscale shop Godmother's, is apparently gathering cobwebs. When British journalist Jan Muir visited, she found herself the only person buying anything. With candles that smell like compost for $60 and pots of honey at an astronomical $28, it's hardly surprising. As Jan put it, no matter how many flowers Meghan sprinkles on top, her As Ever brand is a netherworld of nothingness. Will it even last until next Christmas? At this rate, will it even last until February? You decide. But what of old ginger nuts? Well, while his wannabe tycoon wife is either getting rich fast or facing commercial catastrophe, homesick Harry's increasingly frantic overtures to King Charles are causing an escalating marital rift. The carrot-top Duke is thrilled that, in an unexpected development, the British government may, after all, grant him armed police protection when he visits his home country. If he finally gets the gun-toting cop guards he believes are essential for his family's safety, word is that Harry is desperate for his father to be reunited with Archie and Lilibet, the faraway grandchildren the King has not seen since 2022. So far, so good. But here's the downside. Meghan isn't at all thrilled. A true child of Hollywood, Little Miss California doesn't like England, and if she never sets foot in the UK again, for her, it'll be too soon. As a result, there's a kind of tug-of-love war going on, with Harry caught between Meg's plans for an all-American future and his desire to spend more time with his kids in the land of his father. Well, 2026 has only just begun, but already on the ever-volatile planet Sussex, its trials, tribulations, turbulence and trauma. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. There may be trouble ahead. Meghan Markle is facing the grim prospect of a transatlantic marriage amid reports that unhappy Harry is ready to quit America in a desperate bid to reclaim his sense of purpose. It isn't that the restless prince has fallen out of love with the difficult Duchess. Far from it. The man is besotted. But he is seriously tiring of his life in California, where, summarily rejected by Hollywood, he feels isolated and increasingly homesick for Britain. Hence, the avalanche of strategically placed headline-hitting stories suggesting that the depressed Duke is close to a peace pact with his father, King Charles, and poised to find a royal role back in the country he left behind, which, with no chance of her ladyship Meg ever considering a return to the UK, will mean maintaining an exhausting long-distance relationship. But according to sources, so despairing is Harry of his empty existence in boring, parochial Montecito that he's prepared to endure the arduous business of constantly flying back and forth across the pond. It's a sad end to the prince's exciting mission to reinvent himself in the land of opportunity. His American dream has turned into a nightmare of disappointment after Hollywood gave him the Arctic cold shoulder, projects faltered, and the friendships he hoped to forge either failed to last or didn't materialise at all. The Radar online news website reports that Harry feels like he's taking second place to all of Meghan's dizzying array of endeavours and yearns to make his own way again, something he doesn't feel capable of in the, for him, hostile environment of the United States, a great nation he has always struggled to understand. Who can forget when dim old Ginger Nuts put his foot in his big regal mouth and alienated millions of shocked Americans by dismissing their sacred First Amendment, the right to free speech, as bonkers. An extraordinary statement that came across like a royal proclamation from an entitled aristocrat who somehow felt he had the right to criticise a proud democracy where everyone is equal and no one is born to rule. Many believed that Harry's ill-advised outburst was as moronic as it was inordinately rude, truly discourteous to generous people who went out of their way to make him welcome. Fast forward 5 years and, lost in West Coast space, the once dynamic Harry has traumatically lost his way. But now the disillusioned Duke is plotting to regain his direction in life, to recapture his reason to be, and to stop playing second fiddle to self-consumed Queen Bee, Ms Markle. During the British phase of the gruesome twosome's eventful love affair, Harry once famously declared, "What Meghan wants, Meghan gets." That rule has not changed. In fact, behind the gilded gates of the couple's mansion in the sun, it has become the order of the day every day. Nevertheless, Harry has vowed to start thinking a little more about his own pursuit of happiness. But there are problems, big problems. Not only is Meghan less than thrilled at the prospect of a part-time marriage, back in the UK, it is far from certain that Harry's long legal battle to get the police gun guards he insists are vital to his safety will finally succeed. And at least one VIP royal is ready to fight the Duke's rehabilitation every step of the way after Harry's disgraceful slurs in TV interviews and his nasty best-selling book Spare. His estranged brother William, the Prince of Wales, has made it clear there's no way back. And in the strict royal hierarchy where he sits next in line to the throne, to coin a phrase, what William wants, William gets. A soft-hearted guy who, given the opportunity, would forgive and forget Harry's bad behaviour in a heartbeat. King Charles invariably defers to his firstborn son's infinitely more hardline approach to the Sussex issue. William, of course, despises Meghan and has drawn a line under his broken bond with Harry, which is unlikely ever to be mended. But he's taking no chances and has hired a crisis management specialist to tackle both the unravelling mess surrounding his disgraced uncle Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and, perhaps more pressingly, the potential long-term return of the Duke of Sussex. Top publicist Lisa Ravenscroft has been charged with handling the furore over the vaunted visit of Meghan in July and helping to block Harry at all costs. The brotherly feud has exploded into dramatic all-out war. Who's going to win? Put it this way, when furious, which right now he very definitely is, William is a formidable foe. Look out, Harry. Watch this space. As Meghan Markle joyfully made baby plans, her spare, Harry, was in London, tearfully telling how the evil British newspapers have made her life a misery. According to reports, the difficult Duchess is keen to add a third child to the Sussexes' oh-so-perfect family to blot out her disappointment over the plummeting fortunes of her weird online store as ever, which, to no one's great surprise, is failing to flog mundane domestic products at astronomical prices. Meghan, of course, insists that her booming business is a rip-roaring success, despite revelations over Christmas that the warehouse shelves were crammed with a staggering 572,000 unsold items. That's because she's going global, apparently, and in fact, said sources close to the former cable show actress, she has shifted 1 million jars of jam at $14 a throw. That's kind of hard to believe, but who are we to doubt her ladyship's word? Meanwhile, as Harry theatrically wept over his allegedly distraught wife's mauling by the media, images flashed through my mind of all those effervescent films and photos she constantly posts on Instagram. Sparkling scenes in which Meghan never appears to be one bit miserable. Rather, she always looks ecstatic in her sunny Californian paradise, posing next to the back of her kids' heads and grinning from ear to ear. Was her life a misery when she skipped through those Christmas trees, singing "Hey Ho" before preaching her mantra of bringing joy to all by presenting those unfortunate enough to be in her orbit with edible broccoli wreaths and shop-bought pretzels wrapped up in ribbons? Not as far as I could see. I speak of that bundle of TV euphoria with Love Meghan, which it is now 100% confirmed has been unceremoniously axed by Netflix after 2 terrible series and a woefully feeble festive holiday special that broke new ground in mind-numbing tedium. The Duchess is said to feel humiliated by her show's devastating cancellation. But over the past eventful week, for once in the Sussexes' one-sided Meghan-oriented relationship, all eyes have been on the dim Duke as he launched the latest of his long list of legal actions against the tabloids that he hates with a passion. While Meg monitored the proceedings at the gruesome twosome's Montecito mansion in the Sun, Harry cried semi-convincingly on the stand as he tore into Britain's Daily Mail, accusing its journalists of using nefarious methods to hack into information about his personal life and illegally invade his privacy. The Mail calls the royal renegade's allegations preposterous and false. The case continues. But during Harry's tear-stained 2-hour testimony, those in the courtroom were shocked by his appearance. At 41, he looks 10 years older. And as for his tragic losing battle against his rapidly increasing baldness, surely it's high time the fast-aging prince waved the white flag and gave in to the bone-dome pate fate that afflicts so many of the British royal men. Desperately clinging on to his few remaining strands of ginger hair doesn't do Harry any favours. As writer for the London Times, Tom Peck observed, most Brits who move to California make their friends jealous when they pop back for the weekend looking a decade younger. Harry has somehow achieved the opposite. I have personal experience of this. Sadly, my youthful sun-kissed Los Angeles days are far behind me, but it's a thing, and it's definitely passing the scowling Duke by. Furrow-browed, narrow-eyed, and on edge in court, he resembled a pugilistic pub prowler out to pick a fight. Why is it, one wonders, that the West Coast effect isn't working for haggard Harry? Why have his 5 years in America taken such a toll on the once dashing prince's good looks? The Times' Tom Peck has a theory. It's this: fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to wrinkles. Yep. If you want to look younger, put a smile on your face. Memo to Harry. Forget your relentless war on the papers. A fruitless fight that in the end you will realise you cannot win. Have that kid. Be happy. If you throw away the troubles that clearly weigh so heavily on your shoulders, who knows? Maybe your hair will grow back. Miracles can happen. And that's the bald truth. Meghan Markle stands accused of making her spare, Harry, look like a right royal hypocrite after he spent 1 week wailing over the traumatic assaults on his privacy and the next brazenly courting publicity. The peeved prince's deep desire to be left alone by the prying media was seriously undermined when soon after theatrically weeping in a London court, he pitched up at the Sundance Film Festival, shamelessly exploiting his own celebrity pulling power. Harry's mission was to plug a new movie he co-produced with Meghan. The difficult Duchess was said to have been insistent that her hapless husband was by her side in Utah to help promote Cookie Queens, their harmless but not exactly exciting documentary about Girl Scouts. To be brutally honest, I can't see anyone getting crushed in the turnstiles. But I, for one, simply can wait to see it. Sadly, despite Harry's self-styled magnetic allure, the premiere screening was reported to be somewhat less than a triumph, with the Park City cinema embarrassingly full of empty seats. Worse still, the dim Duke's bid to utilise his royal status to hawk his 91-minute production was slammed as the height of hypocrisy. Is it okay for old ginger nuts to despise reporters when he doesn't want them around, and then pretend to like them when he does want them around, when he needs them to get the word out about the Sussex's latest attempt to make money? You decide. Meanwhile, Mother Meghan's blatant use of her children, or rather the back of their red heads, to promote herself on Instagram also sends conflicting messages. So, do the Duke and Duchess want privacy or publicity? That is the question. Answer? Somehow they demand both. Confused? Aren't we all? Nevertheless, Harry's bitter battle with the British press continued apace as he sat in a London courtroom sobbing about how the tabloids have made his wife's life a misery, which was kind of odd, since Meghan has nothing to do with his legal action against the Daily Mail. He claims the big-selling UK newspaper's ace scoop-getters employed nefarious methods to illegally hack into personal information and intrude on his private life. The Mail calls Harry's allegations preposterous and false. The case, which also involves suing superstars Elton John and Liz Hurley, is expected to take 2 months. But already, after the balding prince's tear-stained 2-hour testimony, the proceedings have shone an unflattering light on the gruesome twosome's entitled insistence on having their cake and eating it too. Their Montecito majesties seem blind to the contradictions inherent in their quest for fame and fortune, strictly on their terms only. Back in Britain, Harry's regal relatives implicitly understand that life in the spotlight is a game of give and take. King Charles and his much spied-upon clan know that they have to accept the rough with the smooth. As Queen Elizabeth famously put it, never complain, never explain. Well, I'm not sure Harry has ever explained his volcanic reaction to red top attention. But boy, oh boy, he sure as hell has complained, almost constantly, loudly, from the rooftops. And then he publishes his nasty little book Spare, in which he invades his own privacy in spectacular style. Let's not go into the gory details. Oh, all right then, let's. Did we really need to know that our intrepid hero contracted frostbite on what he calls his todger and then treated it with his late mum, Princess Diana's favourite lip cream? Was it imperative to reveal how he lost his virginity in a field behind a country pub? Seething sibling William remains furious over the shocking extent of his brother's dynamite disclosures, including the tawdry tale of their princely punch-up. Unable to forgive or forget, fuming Wills remains resolute, foursquare against any peace pact that would see Harry returning to Britain to carry out frontline royal duties and regain his former central role in the king's family fold. It's all a frightful mess. But over in sunny California, it's strange business as usual for Meghan as her ladyship launches her, as ever, special Valentine's Day collection. Nothing says I love you like the so-called strawberry spread trio, a 3-jar box of Scam Jam wrapped up with a red ribbon. Yours for just $42. Or the amorously named Honey Duo gift box, a couple of pots of honey at the knockdown bargain price of $62. Astronomically expensive kitchen produce sealed with a kiss, guaranteed to enchant your swooning partner. Who said romance was dead?